Hey guys, before we start the video, I just wanted to let you guys know that I will be attending the Philadelphia Regional on the 6th. So if you guys want to see me, feel free to, say hi and whatnot. But anyway, on with the video. So all in all, this format has been really good, a lot of fun. There isn't really all that much degenerate stuff going on right now, but there are a handful of things that, could be addressed on the next ban list and, probably should. And probably will. But rather than going through a list of bans, a list of limits, a list of semi-limits, I'll be just discussing, particular things and where, I think they should probably go, on the list. It'll be more card specifically rather than, here's all the bans, here's all the limits, etc. So this will be a different type of, prediction discussion sort of thing than my last one when there was a lot to address. But anyway, there's just a handful of things this time, so but yeah, let's get on into it. Alright, so the first thing that we should probably discuss are the dangers. Now, everyone knows that the three big ones are Tsuchinoko, Jackalope, and Nessie. And those three should probably be hit in some way. I would say limit Jackalope and Nessie, and then either limit or ban Tsuchinoko. And then the Danger Engine is no longer an engine, it can just be its own archetype. The deck itself, if you want to run pure dangers, is relatively functional. It doesn't outright kill the deck, especially if you just limit all three and don't ban Tsuchinoko. But if you are going to ban one, ban Tsuchinoko. It's the least, or sorry, it's the most degenerate, because no matter what, you're getting a monster on board, whether you discard it or not. The other main thing that needs to be addressed other than the dangers is definitely Azathoth. Now, people are debating as to whether or not you should hit Azathoth itself or the Phantom Knight's Rank Up Magic spell card. I lean a little more towards the spell card, simply because, things like Azathoth, True King of All Calamities, all that stuff, it's not really as oppressive on your own turn as your opponent's turn. And Rank Up Magic Launch, you're able to activate it on your opponent's turn, so you're able to drop Azathoth on your opponent's turn, and that's what's unfair about it. So, rather than banning Azathoth itself, which, in a vacuum is okay on its own, the Rank Up Magic spell card is more or less what needs to go. So it should definitely probably get banned. If not, then, ban Azathoth itself. Either one is fine, but the Rank Up Magic spell card would probably be the better hit. Would most definitely be the better hit. The last major thing that absolutely needs to get hit on the next ban list is definitely limiting Skull Dread. At one, it's fine, but any more than one, it is too recyclable, it is not a hard once per turn, and too many degenerate plays can just come of it. It just accumulates way too much advantage, and it just needs to be limited to one so that you're not spamming it over and over again, in a single turn. Another thing that a lot of people are talking about is Phantom Skyblaster. It's probably going to get hit. I could see it happening. They've been hitting a lot of token generators, and Skyblaster's been, seeing some fringe play off and on when people are able to figure out how to abuse it, but now it's a little bit more consistent, so I think it's time to go now. I could also see Konami not doing anything about it because, it might not be on their radar necessarily, but it's more than likely going to get hit. Another thing that a lot of people are talking about is Artifact Scythe. Honestly, I don't think it's going to happen. So, I don't disagree that, dropping Scythe on your opponent's turn is a very degenerate play, but at the same time, it's not exactly something that I see Konami doing, at least not at the moment. Another point of contention is Summon Sorceress. Now, the thing is, with Summon Sorceress, if we don't get Needle Fiber, it's fine where it is, because at the moment, it's not all that degenerate. But if we're getting Needle Fiber soon, then yes, it should definitely get banned. But if not, then it could, stick around for probably another format. It's banned in the OCG. I could see them banning it, especially if Needle Fiber is coming. But if Needle Fiber isn't coming anytime soon, then it can probably stay. Okay, now is a discussion for hitting specific decks, starting with Thunder Dragons. And Thunder Dragon Colossus should probably get limited. They might not limit it. I see it. It's kind of like a 50-50 thing as to whether or not they'll limit it. But, I mean, at 1, it's perfectly fine. It's a good boss monster. It's the fact that you're able to drop so many on one turn that makes it, just unfair. And, but at 1, it's fine. I'm not so sure that Konami's gonna do it, but all the same, it should probably definitely get hit to 1 at some point in the near future, if not this list. Okay, so now let's talk about Sky Strikers. So there are a number of things that they could do to hit Sky Strikers just so that people aren't playing it all that much anymore. Sky Strikers is by no means degenerate. It's actually one of the most fair meta decks that, is around. But it's been around for close to a year now, and normally Konami, doesn't generally let that happen. So they'll probably hit it in some way just to, discourage people from playing. But there are a number of ways that they could, fairly hit the deck. So you could either, you could semi-limit or limit engage. You could, limit or semi-limit, Widow Anchor. You could limit multi-roll, and you could limit Kagari. Any of those, will be just fine. Any 2 of those 4 things, they could easily hit the deck. It'll still be playable, but it won't be as prevalent in the meta as it has been for, since its inception. So, as long as they hit it fairly and, as long as they do something to it, it doesn't really matter what, but, one of those 4 things, or even 2 of those 4 things, is perfectly fine. And Sky Strikers will still be playable and, but at the same time, not necessarily meta-relevant. The last one of the big 3 is Salamangrates. Salamangrates is brand new, and it's really fair, so honestly, Salamangrates can just stay where they are. They don't need any direct hits. I could see them hitting maybe Ladybug or something, like an indirect hit sort of deal, but honestly, Salamangrates are perfectly fine as they are. They're not doing anything too degenerate, and it is a brand new deck, but again, they're perfectly fine as they are, so it's not even worth talking about. And then finally, potential unbans. Now, people were speculating that we're probably going to get a banned card going to 1 or going to 3, whatever, because they moved up the release date for Dual Power. And because of that, people were speculating that, a banned card is going to be in Dual Power that, they'll be taking off the list more or less. But then we got the set list released today or the day that I'm recording this. And so there isn't a single banned card in it. So that theory is completely gone out the window. So, if they do take a banned card off the list, they're not going to be putting it in Dual Power. But there are some cards that could still come off the forbidden list in some capacity. For example, Harpy's Feather Duster, the OCG has had it for a really, really long time, and they just recently got Regeki, whereas we had Regeki but not Feather Duster, and they had Feather Duster but not Regeki. So the OCG recently got Regeki, so I could definitely see us getting Harpy's Feather Duster back, as, sort of like an exchange sort of deal. Another thing is Tribe Infecting Virus. It's been completely power crept. Honestly, it can just come back to 3. It doesn't matter. And then finally, point of contention, Max C. Again, I'm on the side of Max C coming back to 3, but I don't think it's really necessary at this moment because, again, other than Thunder Dragons, abusing the dangers and the Guard Dragons and whatnot, there isn't really anything all that degenerate going on right now, so Max C isn't really all that needed at the moment. So, I mean, it could come back, but I don't see it happening. So that's everything that, could go on the list, could come off the list, all my predictions and whatnot. But let me hear your guys' thoughts. I know this prediction video isn't all that, different from everybody else's, but everyone seems to agree that, the format is perfectly fine on its own. It just needs a little tiny bit of maintenance, and this upcoming list should, in theory, do that. So let me guys know what you guys think. I'd love to hear from you guys. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this. And again, if you guys want to see me at the Philadelphia Regional, I'll be there. And with that, I hope you guys have a great day. Bye!